Hello, I'm Dennis Ho. I lead Arup's East Asia design, and I oversee our architecture, landscape design, and urban design. Arup is basically a collective of designers, consultants, and expertise. We offer a lot of different kind of advisory services to our clients, and we have contributed a lot in many different cities. Well, sustainability is a very big part of the firm. In fact, we've made very firm commitment to how we decarbonize, especially now all the major cities have a decarbonization goal. So we are really working with all the cities towards that. I believe that building sustainable neighborhood is really about bringing back communities together. By that, what I mean is you need to diversify the functions, you need to make sure it cater for different kind of users, you need to look at the environment, how to bring nature, for example, back into the city center, which if you take Hong Kong, is something that is definitely lacking. So bringing nature back into the city, but also how to improve on livability. I think that's a very big part of our debate in Hong Kong right now. Sustainable architecture, in my opinion, is really about adding to the environment. Rather than taking away something from the environment, it's about adding back to the environment, adding values to the site, adding value to the projects, the buildings, and adding value to the communities. So a lot of the system strategies are actually there to help you to do that. But I think if that's the ultimate goal, I think then you are onto a good path to creating a sustainable architecture. Taikoo Green Ribbon is really our future concept for a mixed-use commercial project in a high-density city like Hong Kong. And a lot of the ideas is about understanding our current technologies and future technologies, actually how we can integrate all these different kind of technologies and systems together to create a building that is not only for the users, but also try to bring nature back into the complex. So this project deliberately tried to look at how to maximize the amount of green area that we can put on the site. For example, the project actually introduces 300% of the total site area as new green area. And we did it not only by having it on the ground level, we also have it on multiple levels, not only horizontally, but also vertically on the facade as well. So by looking at multiple levels, vertical, horizontal, and internal, we managed to create a very kind of natural environment. But at the same time, I think these natural environments are also creating a very unique characteristics and identity for that precinct. So hopefully, in the future, something like that would set a new benchmark for how we introduce nature back into the city center. Victoria Harbour obviously is one of the key tourist destinations around the world. It's very well known. I think Victoria Harbour has so far been quite almost like a postcard destination, right? It's very beautiful to look at, but at the same time not that easy to get to. So one of the exercises that we've done within Arup is actually to understand how you, first of all, connect the different destinations together. So the benefit of all these destinations combined together would be much greater. Victoria Harbour, we imagine it to be multiple areas of green spaces, lots of parks, rewilding a lot of the area, bringing multiple functions, mix of use to the waterfront as well. So creating front doors to a lot of the activities on the harbour front. But also using future technologies, like for example, we were thinking about an app that can tell people, where the best places to go, the crowdiness of the location, and also accessibility and connection using ferries, public transport, metro, MTRs. So really, everything is trying to ensure that the harbourfront is accessible as possible. Designer used to be the leader, but actually, I think right now a designer probably would have to collaborate with the engineers and the consultants a lot more. Of course, they will be helping to orchestrate the process, giving some bigger vision and ideas. But almost everybody play almost equally the same kind of roles in the design process. I guess I play quite an important role in trying to integrate design with engineering. Design in a way that we know what technologies are available. We can do a lot of the engineering exercise and analysis, but at the same time we also want the places to be beautiful and actually designed for people. So this kind of people-centric idea and concept, we need to bring that back into our design process. So right from day one, we are very kind of human-focused in a way. We try to understand human behavior, how they want to use the public spaces, what's the ideal environment for the public spaces that could attract people to come, but then also therefore using engineering and technologies to kind of augment that process to try to create what we set out to do. Design for change means you have to be constantly thinking about the future, how to regenerate the design, how to be more flexible that can accommodate the future needs, but also thinking 10, 20 or even 30 years ahead, what would be our future lifestyle, what would be the future technologies that are available. So therefore, creating something that is not only for now, but is also, for the future generations. So you need to really think about when you're designing, how the future might be changing, and then you don't leave the design standing there, and there's a way to allow the design to evolve. So be a bit more flexible and adaptive in how you design, but also thinking about long-term maintenance and operation as well. I think that's also very important. Yeah. And the other thing is also we now understand that nature has a huge impact on our well-being. So in the future, I can also see that nature is a very big part of our design drivers. So with nature, with technologies and human experience and our changing lifestyles, we really should be thinking along those kind of elements. Yeah, I think in the future, technology could allow you to experience nature that you will never be able to experience. That's an interesting way to experience nature if it helps you improve your well-being. But at the same time, it's not really about artificial nature. I think it's also about bringing back real wildlife and nature back into the city that is important. Rewilding is absolutely important, I think, to a city. I think we've done so much to kind of push the wildlife away. I think it's now time that we bring them back into it. We might have to change some of our living habits and our behavior, but I think overall it will be good for us and for the planet. But in the end, it's really about how to create a very livable city. Interesting, Hong Kong is one of the most expensive, in fact, probably the most expensive cities in the world. But in terms of the ranking of livability, it's actually not very high. In Hong Kong, the amount of open space is very low. I think they've done some survey. I think each person gets about 1.5 square meters of open space in Hong Kong, whereas in places like London, for example, you get 6 or 7 square meters per person, right? So there's a big difference. So how do you create this kind of amount of open space that people really need and enjoy in a high-density city? So that is a very important aspect to consider. Of course, there needs to be a balance. You don't want to destroy the mountains, the natural environment, but at the same time, trying to bring that back into our urban fabric is also very important. As a designer, we need to be selective. We need to know where to place them and how to integrate the different kind of technologies to make it more efficient and effective. The suggestions that I might give to upcoming designer is really try to be more observant, try to understand how people live, how people want to work, and how people engage with each other. Because in the end, we are about designing places for people, right? So, but we also at the same time need to be more open-minded. We want to be able to work with consultants and we want to collaborate more. And I think that's how the future should be for designers.